Hello everybody, this is Pastor Green. We're doing another Bible study, Exodus chapter 40. If you'd like me to come speak at your church, or if you have any questions, you can email me at godsohman@gmail.com. Exodus 40 and verse 1. And the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, On the first day of the first month shalt thou set up the tabernacle and the tent of the congregation, and thou shalt put therein the ark of the testimony, and cover it with the veil. So he's saying on the first day of the first month, you're going to set this tabernacle up, exactly how I told you to do it. And you're going to make sure you put the Ark of the Covenant in there, because that's going to be an important place for God to be. So you can see right here that this little bottom circle is where they're going to be at. They're heading up there to the top circle, and life happened, and they actually settled down at the bottom circle there. That's down by Mount Sinai. And thou shalt bring the table and set it in the things that to be set in order upon it. And thou shalt bring in the candlestick and light the lamps thereof. And thou shalt set the altar of gold for the incense before the ark of the testimony, and put the hangings at the door of the tabernacle. And thou shalt set the altar of the burnt offerings before the door of the tabernacle, or the tent of the congregation. And thou shalt set the laver between the tent of the congregation and the altar. And thou shalt put water therein. And thou shalt set up the court round about, and hang up the hangings of the court gate. And thou shalt take the anointing oil and anoint the tabernacle and all that is in therein, and thou shalt hallow it and all the vessels thereof, and it shall be holy. And thou shalt anoint the altar of the burnt offerings and all of its vessels, and sanctify the altar, and it shall be an altar most holy. They put all this furniture in the tabernacle, and I showed you a couple Bible studies ago that the furniture actually made the shape of a cross. I don't think the people saw that back then, but it made the shape of a cross. And the Lord's saying, on the first day of the first month, I want you to set everything up. Then I want you to go around and I want you to anoint it. I want you to take everything and anoint everything, because this is going to be a holy thing for the Lord. And thou shalt anoint the laver of his foot and sanctify him. And thou shalt bring Aaron and his sons into the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and wash them with water. And thou shalt put Aaron the holy garments, and anoint him, and sanctify him, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office. And thou shalt bring his sons and clothe them with coats. And thou shalt anoint them as thou didst anoint their father, that they may minister unto me in the priest's office. And their anointing shall surely be an everlasting priesthood throughout their generations. And thus did Moses according to all that the Lord commanded him, so did he. And it came to pass in the first month of the second year, on the first day of the month, that the tabernacle was reared up, which means they built it. And Moses reared up the tabernacle, and fastened his sockets, and set up the boards thereof, and put in the bars thereof, and reared up his pillars. And he spread above the tent over the tabernacle, and put the covering of the tent above on it. And the Lord commanded Moses. So they set this whole thing up, the tabernacle, all the stuff on the outside, the furniture that goes on the outside, set this whole thing up just like the Lord told them to. They put the altar of incense, the burnt offerings, the laver, all that stuff on the inside. And he took and put the testimony of the ark, and set the staves of the ark, and put the mercy seat upon the ark. And he brought the ark into the tabernacle, and set the veils of the covering, and covered the ark with testimony. And the Lord commanded Moses. So he's taken the ark of the covenant, put it in the Holy of Holies, and put the testimony, which is the 10 Commandments. And then the mercy seat, which is the little lid that goes on top of it, with the two angels pointing down, looking for the blood. They put that all in place in the Holy of Holies. And he put the table and the tent and the congregation upon the side of the tabernacle, northward without the veil. And he set the bread upon it. And he set the bread in order upon it before the Lord. And the Lord commanded Moses. And he put the candlesticks of the tent of the congregation over against the table on the side of the tabernacle southward. And he lighted the lamps before the Lord, as the Lord commanded Moses. And he put the golden altar in the tent of the congregation before the veil. And he burnt sweet incense thereon, and the Lord commanded Moses. And he set up the hangings of the door of the tabernacle. And he put the altar of burnt offering by the door of the tabernacle, by the tent of the congregation, and offered it upon the burnt offerings and the meat offerings, as the Lord commanded Moses. And he set the laver between the tent of the congregation and the altar, and put water there to wash withal. And Moses and Aaron and his sons washed their hands and their feet where they're at. Now I think this is really important, and I probably should have added it in here, but when they're doing the Last Supper, Jesus was talking to his disciples, and he said, I'm going to wash your guys' feet. And Peter said, you're not going to wash my feet. And the Lord told Peter, if I don't wash your feet, you have no business following me. And so Peter said, well, then wash all of me. And the Lord said, after you're saved, I only got to wash your feet. And I think this is interesting because if you think about it, you're now saved. The only thing you have to wash is your walk. You're always walking. You're always doing the Lord's work. So you have to wash your walk. That would be washing your feet. And I just found that interesting. I just wanted to bring that up. And they went to the tent of the congregation, and when they came near unto the altar, they washed. And the Lord commanded Moses, and they reared up the court round about the tabernacle of the altar, and set up the hangings of the court gate. So Moses finished the work. Then a cloud covered the tent of the congregation, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. And Moses was not able to enter into the tent of the congregation, because a cloud abode therein, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. So after they built this whole tabernacle, got it all set up, this cloud went into the tabernacle, which is the sign that the Lord's there. If you remember their exodus out of Egypt, they always followed this cloud. It was a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. And when they got to the Red Sea, this cloud went behind them, and it was a light on their side and a darkness on the other side to stop the Egyptians. So this cloud has been following them the whole time. And then the cloud came upon the congregation, and it went on top of it, and it filled the whole tabernacle. So it's basically a sign that God is now inside this tabernacle. And when the cloud was taken up from upon the tabernacle, the children of Israel went onward to their journeys. But if the cloud was not taken up, then they journeyed not to the day it was taken up. So what it's saying is, this cloud went into the tabernacle. And anytime this cloud left, the people packed up all their stuff and followed the cloud. But as long as the cloud stayed there, they didn't have to move. For the cloud of the Lord was upon the tabernacle by day, and fire was on it by night, in the sight of all the house of Israel throughout all their journeys. And I find this really interesting. I mean, think about it. They've been journeying this whole time. They built this tabernacle, and they probably wonder sometimes, I wonder if God's still with us. I wonder if God's still following us. All they had to do was open up their tent and look, and they could see this cloud on top of the tabernacle. In the daytime, it was a white cloud. Nighttime, it was a big old cloud of fire. So they could always see the Lord was with them. If their kids said, "Oh, Daddy, Mommy, I wonder if God's still with us," and it says, "Come here, let me show you." You open the tent, you look, you can see that God's with you. He's got that cloud on top of the tabernacle. So in the daytime, you would see a cloud of smoke, see the tabernacle there on the bottom, and at nighttime, you see a cloud of fire. So you could always look out your tent, and you could see the cloud. And even at nighttime, God showed the light. So that's also interesting. In Numbers 2, it says, "And the Lord spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying, Every man of the children of Israel shall pitch their own standard, with their inside of their father's house, far above the tabernacle, of the congregation they shall pitch." So in the next chapter, the next book, Numbers, God's going to tell these people where they're going to camp around the tabernacle. This is on the east side. You're going to have this group of people, and on the west side, you're going to have this group of people, on the south side, the north side, and it tells you exactly who's going to camp and how many people are going to camp there. And nobody really pays much attention to these numbers. It says right here, Judah's going to be 314,600. That's going to be 74,600 people. And then next to him is going to be this tribe of Issachar. And Issachar's got 54,400. So 54,400. And there's all these different people listed. And you go and you look at this little picture here, and you go, okay, cool. You see the little flags of all the different tribes, and they're all hanging out around this tabernacle. But somebody took the numbers, and they basically made a graph of these numbers. And if you look at the numbers, the actual tribes that would camp around the tabernacle would form the cross. And I don't think anybody really saw that. God obviously could look down and see it. But they formed the shape of a cross, which I think is very, very substantial. Luke 11 says, "And now I say unto you, ask and it shall be given to you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. For every one that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth. And to him that knocketh it shall be opened." If you're ever searching for God, all you got to do is look for him. Just like the Israelites would open up their tents and they would see the cloud. They would know that God's still with them. You could also find God just by asking and looking for him. Isaiah 34 says, "Seek ye out the book of the Lord and read. No one of these shall fail. None shall want their mate, for their mouth was commanded, and their spirit has gathered them." If you're looking for God, just get into the Bible. You're going to find God there. Psalms 119 says, "Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path." The Bible is a way to see, to light up your life. And you can follow this Bible and you can find God. So whenever you're looking, just be like the Israelites. Open up your tent, look outside, see God, look for him. You might have to turn your head around, you get in the Bible, but you can always find God. He's there looking for you. Guys, that's the Bible study. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all those little fun things they ask you to do. I'm going to put on the bottom that I'm right here, the Exodus Bible study. This is actually the end of Exodus, so there'll be no more of the Bible study, but you can click that and start on verse 1. The top left is going to be the Genesis Bible study, and the bottom left is going to be a video that YouTube thinks you're going to want to see. Usually it's the one before that. I don't know. Anyways, guys, I'll be starting the next Bible study here pretty soon. Appreciate you guys watching. Have yourself a great day.